Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session. I am Dr. Hassan from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, WSU Butterworth campus. In this session, I am going to talk about calculated formula questions, which is one type of question available in the different types of questions in Blackboard Learning Management System. The motivation behind creating this video is some of the feedback that I got from some of my colleagues. So I thought, like in engineering subjects, it is necessary to include calculated formula questions when we create assessments for our students in our diploma program and bachelor's degree programs. This may even be applicable for master's and PhD for those who are engaged with course-based courses. Before spending much time, let us go into what we are going to discuss for in this class, in this session. Before we start, let us have a look into the disclaimer. What I'm going to discuss today is about Blackboard Learning Management System, which is a proprietary learning management system. My effort here is on a best effort basis to help anybody, especially members of the academic faculties, to generate some insight into the process of making use of calculated formula questions in their assessments when they do it online through the Blackboard Learning Management System. On completion of this video, if you pay attention, you will have an insight on how to navigate to the pools feature in Blackboard Learning Management System, then generate a new pool of questions, create calculated formula questions, assign random values for variables in questions, deploy tests with questions pulled in from the pool, randomize the order of questions presented, and also view the details of the answers submitted and graded by the Blackboard Learning Management Test System. Now let us start with navigating to the pools feature in Blackboard. Once we have logged into the Blackboard Learning Management System with our user credentials, what we need to look for is this menu on the left hand side, in which if we go into the different menu items there, we can see course tools. We need to click there. There you can see a number of sub menu items, and you need to find out this link where it says test surveys and pools. We need to click here. Once we click on that link, we will be getting a new window which will show three links, of which the third one is the pools. That's what we are discussing about now. We need to click this link here, and the landing page is a page where it says pools, and there we have three options. One is a build pool, then another one is an import pool, and other one is an import QTI package. What we need to do at the starting point is to click on build pool. If you click build pool, that will land you in a web page where we can type in the information of the pool that we are creating. There we can type in the details of the pool that we are going to create. Pool is nothing but a repository of many questions. And when we create a pool, what we are expecting is that we will take questions from this pool and we will use those questions in our assessments. In our case, since we are focusing only on calculated formula questions, we will name this pool as calculated formula questions. Let me put it like calculated formula. Then you can add any description if you want, but this is completely optional, because when you look at this name here, you can see a small star here. This star says that indicates a required field. If it is not a required field, you need not give in those details. But if you want for you to understand later, you can give a description for the pool that you have created, or that you are going to create. Let me just type here that this pool contains only calculated formula questions. At this stage, we need not give any instructions, but it is up to you according to your individual requirement if you would like to add instructions, you can add it here. What is to be noted here is that this is a well-equipped test editing window. You can do a lot of things here. Say if you want to make this bold, or if you want to change the color, you can do that. Or if you would like to give a highlighting color, you can do that. Or even if you want to add a link, you can do that. There are lots of opportunities and options available here. So once you are satisfied with the pool information, including the name of the pool and the description of the pool and instructions about the pool or instructions on the pool, what we can do is to click on the submit button at the lower right end of the web page. So I'm clicking submit. Once I click submit, it will land you into a web page where it says success, calculated formulae created in a purple window. That depends, the color of the window or the pop-up depends on the theme that you are using. In this case, it is a purple window. You can close it if you want. Now here is where we start creating our questions. If we look into this page, there are different options here, and if you just hover the mouse over create question tab, you can see calculated formula is the first type of question that's listed on the drop down menu. So what we need to do is to just click calculated formula. What we need to do is to click on calculated formula, and we will land into a page where we can create calculated formula questions. You can see that the cursor is now blinking in question title, but we don't see this red star here in question title. So it is optional to give a title, but for us to understand, let me put CF1 as the question title. Now when you see question test, this is where we need to specify the question that we are going to ask to the students. As an example, I don't want to start with a complicated question involving big equations. Let me start with a very simple mathematical question. Let me put this question. Calculate the volume of a cube with side length of 20 meters. So this is the question that we would like to ask. From our theoretical knowledge about cubes, we know that volume of a cube can be calculated by taking the cube of the side length. Or we can very simply write 20 times 20 times 20 will give us the answer for the volume of the cube. But in a formula question, we do not give this value 20 directly here. We will discuss the advantage of not giving it there. So I am declaring a variable in square brackets. Let me name that variable as side, and that is it. We can now come to the answer formula here. So for us to get the answer, what formula we should be using? We should be multiplying the side length 3 times. That's one option. Or we can take the cube of the side length. Since we have specified this as a variable, we are going to use that variable in the answer formula. Let me write side. See, when I wrote side length, the system identified it as a variable, and the color of the variable has changed to blue from black. So the simplest method is to use side length times multiplication sign. You can find it on the editor box, times side length. So this is the answer. This is the formula that we use to get the answer for the question under consideration. Side length times side length times side length. Or in case if you want to use the exponential, if you would like to use cube, what you can use is side length the whole cube. You can use this as well. Now when it comes to the options here, this is where we need to specify the answer range. Say if the expected answer is 10 and the student is getting an answer 10.01, should this be graded for full mark? That's the question. or what range of answers we expect from the student. We can specify it here, but let us focus on it later. There are other options also, like allow partial credit. This is actually given to enable us to give a portion of the total marks of the question, even if the answer provided by the student is wrong, but within a certain limit, or but within a certain range. Other option is units required option, but when we click that, we should be very careful, expecting the system to identify what the student has typed in. So in this case, calculate the volume of a cube with side length of so and so meters. Now the answer for this question will have a unit in meter cube. But how will the student write meter cube? So we can write meter cube like this? No. Many students may try to write many answers. So it is going to be problematic for the system to identify the unit. So it's better in case if there are issues with the possibilities of typing in the correct unit, it's better to ignore this option of units required. So now we have typed in the question, which is having one variable, which is the side length, and we have told the system that this is the formula that the system should use to calculate the answer. Since we have done this, let us go to the next page. This is the place where we define variables. This is the place where we need to mention the value of the variable that we have just defined in the text of the question. So in this case, we are mentioning 20 meters. So you can just put 20 for the minimum value and maximum value. And since 20 is not having any decimal points, we can just put decimal places 0. Also, when we calculate the volume, we need not have to worry about the number of decimal places in the answer. Now, this is the very interesting feature where we tell the system about the number of answer sets required. For this simple example, let me put the number of answer sets 1. And this is the place where we say the answer that is expected, whether it is going to be in a normal number format or in an exponential format. Making use of the exponential format, students should be very careful. There can be issues with identifying the correct answer if we expect them to provide exponential formats. For the time being, let us stick to a normal format. Now we need to press the calculate button here. When I press the calculate button here, we can see the system has calculated the answer 8,000, and the side length is given here as 20. So 20 times 20 times 20, 8,000 is correct. If you want to give feedback to the students for the answers they have given for each question, you can type in the feedback here, like congratulations, your answer is right and you have been credited with so many number of points if you want. But when I do assessments for the students to not copy from others, I usually do not give a feedback at this stage. We can also categorize the questions and we can assign the levels of difficulty to the question. Maybe I can put category as max, so we can see a tag here, and the level of difficulty I can put like easy. Now it is time for us to see the additional features of this type of questions. For that, we need to go back. Before submitting, we need to go back to the first page, and we are going to give 0,005 0005 is a range. Like if 10 is the correct answer, 10.0005 plus or minus 0005, 10 plus or minus 0.0005 will be given full credits. Click next. Here we are going to automatically generate different values for the variable side length, and the minimum value you can specify here and the maximum value you can specify here, say 40. And if you specify here 4 decimal places and calculate answers to 4 decimal places, and say in your class you have 50 students and you would like to have 50 students get 50 different values between 20 and 40, you can calculate at least 50 different sets of values and answers for the cube. Now let us click the calculate here and we will see the difference. Now you see the side length has been assigned automatically for each student. The value of the side length will be between 20 and 40. So you can even see 39.1756. If one student is getting this value as his question, another student will get this value as his question, and another student will get this value as his question. So each student will be randomly assigned a different value for the side length of the cube, and the system has already calculated the answer. So it will automatically check all the answers based on which value has been given to the student. If a student is given 23.0012 is the side length of the cube, the answer will be matched. The answer the student types in will be matched with the correct answer determined by the system, and it will grade the student accordingly. So in this case, it is given like 33373.4965 plus or minus 0.001. So that means this answer, even if it is 33373.4975 or 55, even if it is between the upper limit and the lower limit, the student will be given full credit. Okay, now the simple question has become very complicated when it has been assigned such that it has so many number of decimal places, and when each student is provided with a different value for his own calculations. If another student wants to get the answer from his friend, it is going to be a wrong answer. And if a student gets 21.8015 and his answer is 1036.2.3707, another student, if he is trying to copy, we will be able to identify which student has copied from whom or who has copied from whom. So in this way, each student will have to make use of the correct equation, and he will have to use the correct value assigned to him in the equation to get his own answers. That's the advantage of calculated formula questions. So at this stage, I don't want to give any feedback to the students, either for the correct response or for the incorrect response. And at this stage, I don't want to add any categories. I have already shown like how to add categories or levels of difficulty. Whoever is interested in doing so, they can do that. So we can just click submit. Since there are 50 different sets of answers, it will take some time for the system to submit the whole set of answers into the system. Now we can see that the question has been submitted, and if you click the details, you can see the details and you can see the formula that is used to calculate the answer. And if you want to see the question fully, you can see that. In case if you want to edit this question, you can click on the down arrow and choose the option to edit this question. Since we haven't yet given the option of or checked the option of units required, it is a little bit tricky for the student to give the right answer. When we give the question in meters, the student is expected to provide the answer in meter cube. But some students might just convert this meter into centimeters, and he could give the answer, he could type in the answer in centimeter cube instead of meter cube, because we haven't activated the units required option. If a student does like that, then he is not going to get marks. So when we ask the question, we need to specify in which unit we need to get the answer from the student. So here I need to add meter cube. Calculate the volume in meter cube of a cube with side length of meters. And then we need to click next. I think the answer range the system is expecting is having a least count of 0.001, and then we can click next, and there we are going to again generate a different set of questions and answers. For the time being, let us put 10 answer sets for us to understand easily, and let us reduce the decimal places to 2 and press calculate. Now we can see there are 10 different numbers that were selected with 2 decimal places. The complexity has changed, has decreased, and we can see different values between or in the range between 20 and 40, and the answers are all already calculated by the system. Now we can just click submit. Now when the number of answer sets are reduced to 10, see that the response of the system also has become fast. Okay, now we have seen a relatively easy question and its formula for use in calculated formula type of question. When it comes to subjects related to engineering, we relatively deal with relatively more complex equations. Let us discuss a mass moment of inertia example, which gives us the opportunity to look into a medium complexity type of equation. Let us see how we will make use of the calculated formula to set questions such as that is discussed in this question. The question here is to find the moment of inertia about the geometric center of the given structure made up of one thin rod connecting two similar solid spheres as shown in figure. So there is a rod here that is having a total length of 40 plus 40 centimeter, which is equal to 80 centimeter, which is equal to 0.8 meters is the total length of the rod, and there is a sphere with a radius of 10 centimeter, so r is equal to 0.1 meter. From the theory on moment of inertia of mass, we know that mass moment of inertia of the rod about the vertical axis is given by this equation, which is 1 by 12 of mass of the rod times length of the rod squared. When we deal with only this sphere, we know that the mass moment of inertia for the sphere is given by this equation, which is nothing but 2 by 5 m sphere times r squared. Now this equation is giving us the mass moment of inertia about its own center of mass. But when we take this specimen as a whole, we see that the center of mass of the specimen is here and the center of mass of the sphere is here. So it is not possible for us to just calculate the moment of inertia with respect to the center of mass of the sphere alone. We need to calculate it with respect to the center of mass of the specimen itself. So the equation to find out this is the I sphere specimen center is equal to I sphere center of mass, that means sphere moment of inertia of the sphere with respect to its own axis, its own center of mass, plus m times d square, distance or length. So this d is actually the length between the center of mass of the specimen and the center of mass of the sphere. So this is nothing but 0.4 meters plus 0.1 meter, which is equal to 0.5 meters. Here when you look into this equation, it is given as L by 2 plus R. Why is it L by 2? The L is the total length of the rod, which is 0.4 plus 0.4, which is 0.8. So we will get L by 2 is equal to 0.8 by 2, which is equal to 0.4. Plus r. R is the radius of the sphere. Combining this equation and this equation, the equation that we get is 2 by 5 m sphere times r squared plus m sphere times L by 2 plus r squared. So this is the part that is coming from the center of mass of the sphere, and this is that part that is coming from the distance of the sphere, the center of mass of the sphere from the center of mass of the specimen. So that is how it is coming here. So the moment of inertia of the given specimen therefore should take care of moment of inertia of the rod and the moment of inertia of the sphere, as well as that which is contributed by the sphere being away from the center of mass of the specimen. At the same time, we can also note that these two spheres on both sides of the specimen are similar spheres. It is given like similar solid spheres on either sides of the rod. This will help us to reduce this equation to this form, where we add the eye of the rod and 2 times the eye of the sphere with respect to the center of mass of the specimen. So that is how this equation is coming. Therefore, when we write final equation at a single stretch, or when we combine all the equations into a single equation, we will get the final equation as equation number A. This is part of the rod. This is part of the sphere on its own center of mass. This is part of the sphere due to it being away from the center of mass of the specimen. And this 2 is because there are two similar solid spheres. We should also note here, for the system, this equation is a very simple equation which is easy for us to understand as the examiner. But when it comes to a student, the student will be calculating this first. So from the marking point of view, we should give 1 mark here at least. Then he need to calculate this as the second equation. And here, this is an equation that requires more calculations than what you can expect on the previous 2 equations. So maybe we can give 2 marks for this equation. And this equation is again another 1 mark. And finally, we will get the final answer. And that answer will carry 1 mark. So this is a question that can carry 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A total of 6 marks approximately. I'm just giving it as an example. It's up to you or up to the examiner to decide how many marks to be awarded for which equations and numbers and also units. Now let us import this equation into Blackboard system corresponding to the calculated formula question. So here again we are going to create another calculated formula question similar to what we have discussed for this question here. Let us go to create question, then select calculated formula. Once it has loaded fully, maybe you can give a title of calculated formula question 2. Now the good thing with the question text is that this is a fully featured text editor. So we can go to PowerPoint and copy paste the question from there. So it will show a dialog asking for us to decide whether we should keep the formatting or remove format. So we can safely press remove formatting. So the question has been pasted. We can copy the figure into the question. I have copy pasted the figure into the question. Now what we need to do is to mention the specifications of the specimen within the question and create the necessary variables required. Let us start adding the specifications. As per this figure, I should be adding mass of the rod is 3 kg. But since we are doing calculated formula questions, we are not going to put in values here for us to automate the process of randomizing the questions at a later stage. So we will put the variable, say m rod. So mass of the rod is m rod kg. Mass of the sphere is m sphere kilograms. Length of the rod is L rod meters. Radius of the sphere is R sphere meters. Okay, now we can start writing the answer formula. For us to easily see the answer formula, let me just paste it here. Then once I have created the formula in the answer formula editor, I'll just delete it. So the equation is going to be 1 by 12. So we can start with a fraction 1 by 12 times m rod. Make sure that the variable that we write here should be the same as what we write here. The same as the variable that we have discussed, that we have defined in the question. So let me write m rod. The moment it identified it as a variable, the color has changed. Now again times L rod. L rod. So we need to give it exactly L rod. It has identified it. let us see if we change this L to L. So if it is case sensitive, if you change to a different case, it won't even identify. If you just write L road, it won't identify. So you need to specifically write L ROD. Yeah, L road 1 by 12 M road L road squared. So squared. If you want to put it in a bracket, you can put it like that. Then plus. Then you can maybe start with a square bracket if you want. You need to click the small arrow here, then it will pop down the different types of brackets, so you can use this bracket. Now it starts with fraction, so you can write say 2 by 5. Then it is M sphere. It is written as M sphere. So you need to type in exactly same M sphere. It identified times R squared, R sphere squared. So we need to type R sphere squared. Just put a multiplication symbol there. So 2 by 5 times M sphere into R squared plus. Maybe we can put this in another bracket for us not to confuse. So this plus M sphere times, there's a technical glitch here. It's not permitting me to go there. Let us put this down. So M sphere times inside the bracket, there is a fraction L root by 2 plus R sphere whole squared. Okay, so we have created the equation. So it is now showing the equation for us, but we can copy it into PowerPoint and see if there is any problem with the equation. Now if you copy it into PowerPoint, it's not going to work. There is a 2 that is missing here. So we need to add this 2 plus 2 into brackets 2 by 5 M sphere plus R sphere square plus M sphere into L by 2 plus R sphere the whole square. Okay, now it has come better. When I pressed an enter, it's again creating problems. So I just press an enter. So if you press it like this, then you can comfortably see what is happening there. Okay, so now let us cross verify the equation that we have created. 1 by 12 M road into I road square plus 2 times 2 by 5 into M sphere R square plus M sphere into L by 2 plus R sphere squared. Okay, so now we have created the question and there is no need of this equation anymore. We can just delete that equation. Another thing that you can do, that we can do, is not to specify the mass in this figure. We can change this to mkg, or you can just indicate in terms of letters of giving the exact values here. Now, since we have created the question, we can go to the next session where we will input the values of the variable. For the time being, we will keep this as 0.001 and there is no partial credit and we are not asking the units required. For reference purposes, this question was taken from the website address that is given here. You can have a look at it if you want. Now let us go to the next page. It is not giving us any errors. That's good. This is the place where we are going to give the values. Length of the road, we know it was given as 0.8 meters. So for the time being, let us give 0.8. Mass of the road was given 3 kg. So let us put 3 kg here. Mass of sphere 5 kg. 5 kg here. Radius of the sphere is 0.1 meters. So 0.1 meters. The road, let us put 3 decimal places for the length of the road. Let us put 2 decimal places for kilograms and 2 decimal places for kilograms. And for the radius, let us put 3 decimal places. And the answers to be calculated to 2 decimal places. And for initial checking, we will need only one answer set. So we can click calculate. We need to go back and try to calculate again. Okay, it has been giving me an error message which is given as there is an error in the formula or the input value. So let us press OK here and go back to the equation. The problem is with the double bracket. So we need to delete this double bracket. So keep the mouse just near to the double bracket and you can see the double bracket is getting select, click delete, and the double bracket is now deleted. Now we can put symbol bracket here so it can identify the mathematical equation correct. You can put an enter if you want, even if it is not given, it's not a problem, but double bracket is not going to work with the equations. So let us click next. This 0.8, we should make sure that the decimal places is given at least one. For safer side, we can give 2 decimal places, because when we measure length in meters, it can go normally up to 3 decimal places. So wherever you measure length, in this case, it's better for us to give at least 3 decimal places. Now let us try calculate. Yes, now the system has calculated, and we just verified this answer that we got. It is exactly matching with the solved example. So let us go back and vary this from 0.8 to 0.9, 3 kilogram to say 3.5 kilograms, and 5 kg to 5.5 kgs. As a sphere radius can be 0.1 to 0.2, and let us generate 10 different sets. Calculate. Now it is calculating 10 different sets of equations, and we are now able to generate 10 different sets of questions and answers. Let us submit this at this stage. Okay, now we have 2 questions. We have 2 questions now, and we need to set the marks for this. For this question, where we measured or where we calculated the value of volume of cube, we could just give 1 mark. And for this, we have mentioned earlier, we could give 6 marks. Similarly, when we automate, we also need to change this figure. Let me change. So I have created a generic picture of the problem, and I have indicated measurements with the help of letters instead of specific values or numbers. So you can see mass of the rod, it is given as small m. So maybe if you want to give more clarity, you can specify it in the question. Mass of the rod m is so much kg. Mass of the sphere, capital M, is so much kg. Length of the rod, L, is so much meters, and radius of the sphere, R, is so many meters. So we have done a general picture so that it is easy for students to understand the different values that are generated by the system and correlate it with the figure appropriate. So when I press calculate, it is now not giving me errors, and we can just submit it. Okay, so finally we have a question, one question with 1 mark and another question with 6 marks. When it comes here, you can see total questions 2 and total points 7, and it is also giving us a success question edited message as well. Once this is done, what we can do is we can just go back and open the subject and go to content, course content. Maybe if we want to add a content page, we can add a content page and just name it as text. So if wherever you want to give it, you can give it as content test. So when you click here, it is shown that the link is hidden from students and there is no content in the test. So when you come here, you can actually create a test. There is no test available, so you can create a test here and you can get like just 1. And if you want to give instructions, you can give instructions here, descriptions here. That's not a problem. It is best for us to put some logos and details of the lecturer, subject, etc. in this side, and all the instructions can be given here. So now I have added WSU logo and some sample instructions. So I'm just submitting it. So here the test is created. What we need to do now is to add questions that we have already created in the pool. When you click here again you can see the calculated formula and other different types of questions. But since we have already created this in our pool, we need not create it here again. What you need to do is you can click the reuse question tab and you can ask to create a random block. Random block, when you click here, click that option, we will get a page where different types of questions will be listed. So if you click the calculated formula, see all the 2 questions that we have created in the pool will appear there. So you just need to click submit. Now you can see the question has been imported. There are 2 questions. When you look here, you can see number of questions to display. Say if you want to ask all the questions from the random block, you can give that. Or you want to display only a few questions, you can even do that as well. It's better to have same questions shuffled to all students. So let us put 2 here. So we'll have 2 questions. The random block has been created and we see the questions being taken in from the pool. But one thing we need to worry about here is the point, because if we use a random block, all the questions should be of same level of difficulty and same mark. Say if there are 2 questions, you can give 2 marks each for each question. If you do not want to give same marks for the questions, you can actually go for another option. So you can delete this and then you can create question set and pools, select the questions, submit. Even in this case also, we are seeing that it's the same question, same marks are being allocated for each question. So if we need to use different marks for different questions, you need to use say find questions. So link to original questions, is that what we can select here. So the questions will be linked, it won't be copied. So just link to the original questions. Now you can see the questions are being imported into the test canvas and the points that we have given earlier has also come in. Okay, so we can just press OK and can select this test 1 and submit. Then we can decide whether to open the test in a new window, whether we should make it available for students, should an announcement be made, how many attempts are to be given, force completion. If it is force completion means after the specified time the test will automatically submit and display at what time. So you can also set the question, the time for the question to display, and then it's better not to give any feedback. You want your test marks to be appearing in the grade center, you need to click here. You can also click randomize questions and then click submit. So the test has been created. Now if you want to be available for students, you need to set the time, the date and time at which it will be made available, and you need to click make available. So if you take the test, you can see the instructions are coming. So you can click begin. See, we are getting this question. So when you see the questions, marks is showing 6 points and the values has been generated randomly: 3.08, 5.37, 0.854. We can go to another question. Again, you can see that the value has been automatically generated. So we can save and submit and we get a response. You got 0 out of 7 points. If we again attempt the test, you will get another question, but this time next to another student with another set of values, another question with another set of values, and you scored 0 out of 7 points. Once this is done, you can visit the grade center and go to the full grade center where you can see test 1 and you will see the marks, and you can click on this arrow and view grade details if the students they have attended the test. Okay, I hope there is now some clarity in the process of creating online tests with questions generated randomly. Thank you.